So, the IRS had their hands a little deeper in the pockets of patriots than they should have had. What's that, like third base? Let's make people pay their fair share by being unfair to them. That, my friends, is the backward world of liberalism, forcing so-called fairness by being unfair.
I think what happened. Propaganda.
Liberals try to paint this picture of right-wingers being the rich and greedy who don't pay taxes. Well, yeah, it may look like right-wingers aren't paying as much in taxes because there's more given in charitable contributions that get written off. That's why it doesn't look like the right-wing Bible thumpers don't look like we pay a lot of taxes, because we don't have to be forced to give. We volunteer to give in the first place, far more than liberal Democrats do. You want to blame someone for greed? See liberal Democrats and stop blaming conservatives. But hey, if we want to get serious about fighting this stuff, let's abolish the 16th Amendment. And y'all, it gets on my nerves when I hear some so-called Republicans tell me we can't abolish the 16th Amendment.
Somebody's getting on my nerves.
And you call yourself a Republican, the party that was founded to abolish slavery and won. And you're telling me that we can't abolish the 16th Amendment, an amendment that ushered in another form of slavery that allows the government to take from the worker? Y'all say that abolishing the 16th Amendment is a pipe dream. Abolishing slavery was a pipe dream. It got done though. If you work and I come in and just take a percentage of your earnings, that's a form of slavery. And if you don't let me, then I can punish you. Again, that's a form of slavery. And the field enforcers are the IRS, who strangely enough are a law enforcement agency. And I reminded y'all many years before that their job is to jack you for your money. They uphold the law by breaking it and violating our right to property. We are subjects of the state. When the government can take a percentage of our fruits, the government has also infringed on our free religious exercise. When the government takes from us before we can even make our offering to the Almighty, that is an infringement on our free religious exercise. And as Christians, you don't think we've set ourselves up to lose favor with the Almighty when we allow the government to take our first fruits without a fight? You know that little part about not having any other gods before Him in the Ten Commandments? But when we allow the government to cut in line and take our fruits before we can make our offering to the Most High, how can we expect the country to enjoy being blessed? The liberals will try to counter and say that income taxes make up a very small percentage of revenue for the national budget. Well, if you're going to downplay what the income tax contributes, then the government shouldn't miss it. And all the more reason they should stop taking it from us. It may not be a lot to them, but it's a lot to people who actually work for it. And for some reason, the government still demands that supposedly insignificant amount. And it just goes to show that not only does liberalism in government take our fruits, it takes it for granted and squanders it. Now, some people accuse me of being libertarian about my views on taxation. I beg to differ. My view is about conserving our economy against the liberal exploitation of it. The liberal interpretation of our tax model in this country is corrosive to our economy and led to the 16th Amendment. The conservative approach to our tax model is restorative. An aspect of that is simplicity. And with that, I insist on abolishing the 16th Amendment and going back to the original tax model. Speaking of going back, conservatives should consider what going back means and ready to respond. Because when liberals hear us say things like taking our country back, they try to tell people we mean back to the days of slavery and whatnot. Let's use that as an opportunity to remind everybody that it was the Democrats who were fighting to keep slavery legal in the first place, and Republicans fought to abolish it to conserve our republic that protects freedom for all. And when we say take our country back, we're talking about taking our country back to the Declaration of Independence, specifically that part that says we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yes, we want to take this country back from a culture that has made a declaration of dependence and insists on a government that makes us all subjects because they think that somehow they'll benefit from it. Wrong. And ideas like theirs lead to Tea Party type folks being targeted by the IRS. Groups expressing patriotism and being pro-Israel. Oh no, we can't be pro-Israel, and liberals have the nerve to call us racist and Nazis. We're pro-Israel. You liberals are the ones who seem to have issues with Israel. And just in case you forgot, Hitler and the Nazis didn't like Jews either. Anyway, you liberals are always saying tax the rich more. Well, you've been proven wrong on a couple of fronts. Conservatives, or the rich, as you assume, have been taxed more. Are the poor that you patronize better off for it? No. So taxing the rich more, once again, is proven that it will not make life better for the poor. Also, targeting conservative types wasn't going to do you much good because we're not the majority of the big money makers. Most of them would be liberal Democrats. But you don't know that because they keep the focus off them by keeping you focused on Republicans, and they spend billions doing it. If we Republicans had all that money, don't you think we'd be promoting our message in big flashy movies and more TV shows and commercials and whatnot? Liberals make so much money, they've bought your imagination. I'm AlfonZo Rachel with ZoNation, where it's no surprise that we on the right are getting done dirty by the government. They're constantly dumping on our rights. They're punishing us for our right to freedom of speech, the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. We're being punished for that. The liberal government is trying to shut us up. That's censorship. You know that thing that the left claims to hate so much? Obama said that the founding fathers put in a system that constrains the government and that the people shouldn't be threatened by the government because we elect them. Well, that depends. We have reason to be apprehensive when too many people elect officials and give them power to represent and impose their selfishness and self-righteousness. And hey, now that we all know that the IRS has been doing this, can the folks audit them and get their money back? It is their money, you know.
Somebody's getting on my nerves.